Okay, good evening, everyone. As we welcome in Harrison Kletzel, Aaron Swade, Irving Fishbaum, Stephen Holtzman, Eddie Chazan, Baruch Ian, Mo Kushner, Nachman Chapler, Menachem Yemansky, Shalom Fogel. We welcome in Avi Ament, Abram Schenkman, Mel Zachter, Moshe Lehman, Yitzi Muller, Ilya Shutman, Abe Arbach, Reuven Guy, Reuven Pollack, and Rabbi Kranz. We're dedicated by Baruch Ian Lili Nishmas, Esther Bas Yaina, Yaakov Chaim ben Abba, Avram ben Shmuel HaKoyme, Kain Lefu Shalema for Baruch Shlomo ben Lina, by Aaron Swade, Lili Nishmas, Chana Bas Shmuel, and his sister Freda Bas Shaul, by Mark Fankel, Lefu Shalema for Miriam Sarah Bas Sipora, Chana Bas Gittel Esther, Beirut Goldwasser, for Akar Satay, for what Hashem did for his family, and for the Chayla Yisrael. We learned Stephen Holtzman is dedicating it, Lili Nishmas Yehuda Aryeh ben Zachariah, Lefu Shalema for Victor Aryeh ben Rivka, and for Yehuda Cyril Bas Miriam, Meir ben Chaya Sarah. They should have a Lefu Shalema B'Seich Shar Chayla Yisrael. We welcome in Saba, who's here, Stephen Kramer, Larry Tuchinski is joining us, and right now Yisrael Fisher is coming in. We are holding by Amar Abaya 3 lines from the bottom of Daf Nun Tes Amud Beis. 3 lines from the bottom of Daf Nun Tes Amud Beis. Amar Abaya, Uletame de Rav. According to Rav, who says when a person says Me'achshav, you should be Mekudeshes from now and after 30 days. So Rav says that we are Mesupik, whether it's a Tanai, and it means retroactive, or whether you change your mind. From now? No, after 30 days. So says the Gemara, Bo echad va'amaloi hariyat mekudeshes li me'achshav v'lachar shloshim yom. If Stephen says, Shprinza, you're mekudeshes to me from now after 30 days, and then Bo achar va'amaloi, and then Irving comes and says, Shprinza, hariyat mekudeshes li me'achshav v'lachar esim yom, from now after 20 days, and then Aaron Swade comes and says, Oba Achar, Aaron Swade comes and says, Hariyat Mekudeshes li me'achshav v'la'achar asara yomim, after 10 days. So here the Gemara tells us, according to Rav, Merishin, from Stephen she needs a get, or me'achron tzricha get. And from Aaron Swade she needs a get. Me'emtzoi ain't a tzricha get. But from Irving, she doesn't need a get. Why? Because Manavshach, if it means from now, when 30 days come, so then when 30 days come, she's married to Stephen, who said it first, and the other people are out. The Kama Kiddushin, the first ones are Kiddushin, the Hanach Lav Kiddushin. Ichazara Hava, if it's a backing out, so Stephen said now, no 30 days. Irving said now, no 20 days. And Aaron said no, now, no 10 days. Oh, so then she's married to Aaron. Then the Basar Kedushay, the Hanach Lav Kedushay. So for sure, Irving is out of the picture, because if it's a Tanai, it's to the first one, Stephen. If it's a Chazara, then it's to the one that says the earliest, that's 10 days. So it's Aaron. So says the Gemara Pshita, well, that's obvious. Duh. Says the Gemara, no, I might think that maybe there's a possibility that one meant it one way and one meant it the other way. As we welcome in Barish Gesseman, who just joining us. Barish, we're holding 6 lines from the top of Samach Amud Aleph, and we welcome in Sandy Grunfeld and Richard Rosenzweig joining us on Facebook. Obviously, their computers are not available because otherwise they would certainly join us on Zoom. Says the Gemara, so that we could be freilich together. Says the Gemara, no. I might say that maybe Stephen changed his mind. Now? No, 30 days. Maybe Irving didn't change his mind. Maybe he meant now, in 20 days, tonight. And maybe Aaron also changed his mind. Now, no, 10 days. So then the first one that gets in is Irving. So now the same, a high lishna mashna tana, it could be a condition, umashma chazara, and it could be a backup. And we're not sure who meant it which way. And then v'tiboy gita mikol chad v'chad, should need to get from all of them. Kamash malan, no, it's uniform for everybody. It's either a tanai or a backout. And therefore, so Irving doesn't have to give the get. Because if it's a tanai, then Stephen is the one that is married to her. And if it's a back out, then Aaron, who said the earliest back out, no, after 10 days, is married to her. Now, Reb Yochanan adds another way of looking at it. Amar Reb Yochanan, afilu meya toifsin ba. It's possible that even 100 have a connection with her, and should need to have a get from all 100. V'chein Amar Rav Asi, Amar Reb Yochanan, Reb Asi also quoted in the name of Reb Yochanan, that afilu meya toifsin ba, even 100 have a hold on her. Says the Gemara, Amalei Rav Mashash Brei de Rav Ami le Rav Asi. Rav Mashash, the son of Rav Ami, said to Rav Asi, Asber lach taima de Rav Yochanan. I'll explain you the reason of Rav Yochanan, because shavu nafshe, they each one made themselves kishraga delivne, like a row of bricks. Now, in a row of bricks, you don't pile the next row of bricks one directly on top of the brick that's on bottom of it, because then you would just have single files of bricks and they'll all topple. You make them interconnecting, and when you put one brick on the brick below it, you only put it on half of the brick, and it always leaves room for the next brick. And the chol chad, the chad, each one rafcha l'chavrei shavak, each one leaves room, so that when Stephen says, according to the way Rabbi Yochanan looks at it, this is a difficult lumdus, but according to the way Rabbi Yochanan looks at it, when he said to Shprinza, you're Mekadeshes to me from now in 30 days, he was saying that the Kiddushin should be a gradual process. It should start now and complete in 30 days. So since it only starts now, it leaves room for the next one. So therefore, if let's say Stephen said that you should be Mekadeshes to me from now in 100 days, and then the next one said you should be Mekadeshes to me from now in 100 days, so each one, since it's gradual, there's room for the next one also to get in. So the Gemara says, but by get we don't say that. If he says, let's say, Chatzkel says to Sarah, you're divorced from today and after death. So get veina get. Now that's very good according to Rav, because get veina get, because we're mesupik if he meant from now, if he dies, so it's retroactive, and then it would be a good get. Or if he meant from today, no, after I die, and then it's not a good get. So in such a case, the immace, in the case if Chatzkel dies, so Chatzkel's brother Shimon will have to be chaletzes v'loy misyabemes. Now, we're not sure. If it was a divorce, if it meant retroactive, so then it's a divorce. So then Sarah was divorced when Chatzkel died, and then she doesn't need anything. But if it was only after death, so then she was married because there's no get after death, and then she would need to have chalitza or yib. Since we're not sure, so chaletzes v'loy misyabemes. So bishleim l'Rav, it's good according to Rav, Messiah. Now Shmuel, he'll say, Shmuel who says, if you remember, Shmuel says that it's definitely a Tanai. Shmuel will say this is going according to the Shita of the Rabbanan. The Shmuel Nami Hamani Rabbanan that say it's a suffix whether it's a Tanai or a Chazara. V'anan Nami Rebbe. I who say that it's surely a Tanai, I hold like Rebbe. El Rabbi Yochanan, but according to Rabbi Yochanan, the Amar Shiyuva Have, that's a gradual process. If it's a gradual process, then it definitely is not a good get. Because Kol Gita de Meshaya Ba V'loy Klamu. Any get that leaves over is nothing. The get has to be a creases in one shot. So it's a gradual process. That's not a good get. And if it's not a good get, then according to Rabbi Yochanan, Chatzkel's brother should even be able to be miyabim because it's definitely not a good get. Yebu be miyabim should even be able to be miyabim. And Elliot Udell reminds us all that we should learn for the schus of Eretz Yisrael. It's a good reminder. We should all have a mind for the schus of Eretz Yisrael. Says the Gemara, Amar Rava. So Rava says, well, even though it's a gradual process, but whatever's left over is finished by death. Amar Rava get lahaitzi. Get is to get her out, and a misa lahaitzi, a misa frees her. Masha shaya get, what's left over by the get, gamrasa misa. So Abaye says that's not true. Get and misa over here do opposite things. The get frees her from yibam. Misa catapults her to yibam. Amalei Abaye mi dami get maitzia merishus yavam. The get frees her from yibam because if she was divorced before he died, she doesn't fall a yibam. Misa mechnesas rishus yavam catapults her to yibam. Alamar Abaye says you're right. According to Rabbi Yochanan, if he says here's your get mahayomi mati, since it's a gradual process, it's taka no good. And really, Chatzkel's brother should be able to be miyabim. Hosam time of my, why do we say choletzes v'loy mizyabemes? Because it might be confused, gzeira mishim me'ayoim imati, where he says me'ayoim imati, from today if I die, so that's clearly a Tanai, and there she would be divorced, and then she would be, there's no chalitza, no yibam, she's forbidden to Chatzkel's brother with an isser of eishesach shaloibim kai mitzvah. So so it says the Gemara, then what's the din if he said mahayoim mati? If Chatzkel said to Sarah, mehayoim mati, from today if I die, and Chatzkel then dies, she's divorced, and she could even be miyabim to Chatzkel's brother. But maybe we should be geyser and not let her be miyabim up to the case where he said mehayoim ulach hamisa. Says the Gemara, v'nigzer mehayoim imati to tachloitz otu mehayoim ulach hamisa. Because in the case of mehayoim ulach hamisa, if you're going to say, we should say that at least you should need, in the case of, we should say that in the case of mehayoim imati, we should say, from today, if I die, which is definitely a good get, the tachloitz, that that she should do chalitza and not yibum, atu me'ayom el hachamisa. Says the Gemara, im ato imer. Yeah. Now, really, in the case of me'ayom mati, where he says, "Here's your get from today. If I die," there's no yibum or chalitza because she was divorced. But maybe we should insist on chalitza after the case of miyom alachamisa, where we said we're not sure if it's a tanai or if it's a chazara, and if it's a chazara, then it's not a get because there's no get after misa. So we should say in the case of mayom mati, you should need chalitza, so to make sure that in the case of miyom alachamisa, you do chalitza. Says the Gemara, no, we can't do that. Because if we say that in the case of me'ayomi mati you need chalitza, they might come to do yibum. Imato imer chaletzes misyabemes. They might say, well, if there's chalitza, I could be miyabim. And of course, being miyabim over there in the case of me'ayomi mati, where she was divorced already before Chatzkel died, if she would do yibum with the brother-in-law, that would be an isukaris of eishes ach shaloi b'mkay mitzvah. So the Gemara says, so then, hochanami in our case, in the case of mehayim ula'achar misa, if we say that you should do chalitza, you might come to do yibam. We said that according to Rabbi Yochanan, really mehayim ula'achar misa, it's really not a divorce at all, because there's no such thing as a gradual divorce. Tisyabim ve'mekaklum. So let them be miyabim. That wouldn't be the end of the world. It's only a chashasha d'Rabbanan here. It's only a gzeira because of the case of a mayom mati. But it's according to Rabbi Yochanan, if they should come to do yibum in the case of mayom ulachamisa, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Because according to him, mayom ulachamisa is a gradual get, and a gradual get is nothing, so she was never divorced. So when she was married to Chatzkel when he died, and Yibam is allowed. We want to welcome in Gedalia, who made sure to come when the Gemara gets easier. I don't blame you. It's a really, really good, cool move. You don't get to know Shas that way, but Gedalia learns it anyway other times. He just comes with the gravy over here. Right? That's right. This is easy schmeezy stuff for you, Gedalia. But by the way, did anybody learn the Mishnah Yomis by Mincha? They didn't. I was by the Levaya. That's what I probably understood that, right? Yeah, we should learn Taka. For Shol ben Tuvia, we lost a member of our Kehillah. Actually, I believe it's the first member of our Kehillah that we lost since the start of our shul. Because Weinberg wasn't a member of ours. Right? So Shaul was a member. That's the first member that we lost. It should be not for a long time anybody else. I don't know if you remember that when I was talked before the Tillim, I said how we have to have in mind V'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. And here, he didn't get up. I said to his wife that he even passed away quietly. Everything about him was quiet. He even passed away quietly.
He was in shul for the first days.
He was here for the first days. Wow.
His son was here.
Wow. Wow. I didn't even know about the Levine. I didn't look at my email. And then I called Baruch to tell him that I called Shemim that they should, if they're doing pass-bys of shuls, they should pass by our shul too, and they should put our shul on the list for the police that we want attention tomorrow. So the Shamim said 100%. It has nothing to do with HOA. This is security. So I called Baruch just to let him know. He says, "Oh, by the way, there's a funeral. There's a funeral." So Baruch Hashem, I was able to speak by the kever for a few minutes.
Didn't know he was sick. Other
He wasn't sick. He wasn't sick. He just didn't get up. In a way, that's a good thing. It's almost a beneshika. Except that we want to be able to be mitzvah to our families when the time comes.
It's a pity, somebody like that led a vibrant life, and we only got to know him.
Yeah. I said that. And they say, the people that knew him, I was there, I was talking to somebody who was boarded, one of his daughters boarded by him, and said he had this sterling reputation. Yehi Zichrei Baruch. Okay, so now, where's Marshall? Where's Mark? It's a conspiracy. So who's going to be Marshall for tonight? Who's going to be Marshall? Adam Pravda is watching. Oh, it's good to have you, Adam Pravda. Adam Pravda used to be a subscriber to my tapes until he dropped me like a hot potato. Hi, Adam. It's good to have you. Okay, Avi is smiling too much, so let's use Avi. Anyway, Haimel Isha, Avi tells Sprinza, Hariyat Mekudeshes li al Menashe etein loch masayim zuz. You should be Mekudeshes to me on the condition that I give you $200. Harizu Mekudeshes, so she's Mazel Tov, Sprinza and Avi are an item, V'hu Yitain, and he should give the $200. Al Menashe eten loch mekan v'ad lamed yom. He says, I'll give it to you in 30 days. So then, Nasan Labasayk Shloishim, if he fulfills his word and he gives it to her within 30 days, Mekudeshes. V'yam lav, and if not, ain't Mekudeshes. Al Menashe yesh li masayim zuz, on the condition that I have 200 zuz. Harizu Mekudeshes, he's Mekudeshes to Shpinza. V'yesh li, if he has 200 zuz. Al Menashe erech masayim zuz, on the condition that I show it to you. Now, in the first case, if witnesses say he had 200 zuz, that's enough. But if he specifies on the condition that I show you the money, Al Menashe erech masayim zuz, harizu mekudeshes, he's mekudeshes v'yireh, and he has to show it. He has to show the money. V'im hera ala shulchan, if he's a money changer, and he shows her 200 on the money changing table, then ain't mekudeshes, because the money on the money changing table is not all his. Yeah.
On the ratio here, even though he hasn't given it yet, she's mekudeshes, he could give it in 10 years.
So let's see
years.
Let's see what the Gemara says. Itmar, Berish is mechavan to the Gemara. Right? Berish must be a Gilgal of Rav Huna. Itmar. Rav Huna Amar v'hu yitein. Rav Huna says she's mekudeshes now, and he'll give the money whenever. Rav Huna Yehuda Amar likish yitein. No, she's only mekudeshes to Avi when he gives the money. Rav Huna Amar v'hu yitein t'no'ava. It's a condition. We're mekudeshes now on the condition that I give you the money. Mikayim Tanah v'azal. He fulfills the condition, and they're mekudeshes retroactively from the time that the money is given. Rabbi Yehuda Kiddushin, when he gives the money, l'chi yav avi kiddushi. When he gives the money, when he gives the $200, she they're mekudeshes. Hashda miyalei avi kiddushi. So the Gemara says, "My beinayu." What's the practical difference between the two? Oh, Ike Beinaya, the difference is Shapashta Yad of a Kibla Kiddushin Me'acher, where she 2 times Avi. Avi says, you're Mekudeshes to me, Prince, on the condition that I give you $200. Before he gives over the bucks, she went ahead and accepted Kiddushin from Stephen. L'Ravuna le'avi Kiddushin. According to Ravuna, she's not Mekudeshes to Stephen. Because when Avi gives the money, it's retroactive from the moment he said it. L'Rav Yehuda, but according to Rav Yehuda, since she's not Mekudeshes to Stephen until he gives them to Avi until he gives the money, Avi Kiddushin. It would be a Kiddushin. Stephen would get in ahead. And we learned by get the same way. A man says to his wife, here Chatzkel says to Susan, here's your get on the condition that you give me $200. Harizul Migureshes, she's divorced, Vihi Titeng, and she delivers the money. Itmar, Ravuna Amar Vihi Titeng, she's divorced now when she delivers the money retroactively. Rabbi Yudai Melikish Titeng, she's only divorced when she gives the money. Ravuna Amar Vihi Titeng Tunab. He says, here's your divorce now on the condition you give me the money. Mekaima Tunava, so she fulfills the tonight, she's divorced retroactively from the time he gave the get. Rabbi Yudai Melikish Titeng, when he gives the money, L'chi Yava Lehuda get. Only when she gives the money is it a get. Hashtamiya Lehavi get. Now again, says the Gemara, as we turn to Daf Samach Hamid Beis, says the Gemara, my beinayu, what's the difference between the two? Iki beinayu sheniskara get. If before she gives the $200, the get gets torn, or she'avid, or it gets lost. L'Ravuna have a get, because according to Ravuna, once it's fulfilled, it's retroactive when the get was given. L'Rav Yehuda, that has to be now. If the get's not around anymore, lo have a get. Now, why do they have to say this machloik is both by Kiddushin and by Gitin? So says the Gemara V'tzricha, the Iyashmi Negabi Kiddushin, because if we would say this by Kiddushin, B'hakam Ravuna, that it's a T'nai, and that he wants to be married to her right now, Mishum de L'Kroiva Kasi, because he wants to bring her close. And where he wants to bring her close, he wants it to happen now. Aval Gerishin, but the get to L'Rechaika Kasi, it's to send her away. He's not in a rush to send her away until he gets his money. That when he gets his money, he's sending her away. If we'll say only by get, by get we say that it's okay, they're divorced now. Huna says they're divorced now. Mishum de'iu like kasav leila mitva. He's not embarrassed to ask her for the money. He doesn't like her. He's not embarrassed to ask her for the money. Aval haka by Kiddushin, where he says that I'm a kaddish you on the condition that I'll give you the 200. She's embarrassed to ask for the money. She might hold out that it shouldn't be until she gets the money. That it's only when she gets the money. Tzricha. So we need to argue in both cases. So asks the Gemara, Meisvei, here's your get on the condition that you pay me $200. Afa pishin iskara get, even if the get is torn, oisha of it, or gets lost, tarizum gereshes. So that's a kash on Rabbi Yehuda. Here it's clear, it's a Tanai. However, la'achar like Tanai says she shouldn't marry someone else at shetitin until the Tanai is fulfilled. V'aytanya, we learned further like Rav Huna, amalari zegitech al menashe titin li masayim zuz. Here's your get on the condition that you give me 200 zuz, omeis, and what happens is, here Chatzkel says to Susan, here's your get on the condition that you give me 200 zuz. Omeis, and he dies, so Nasna, if she gave the money, so then ain't skukali yavim, then they were divorced, and therefore she, even though they were childless, she doesn't have to have yibam from Chatzkel's brother. Loi nitna, if she didn't give the money, so now it's too late because he's not around anymore. So then the get is not a good get. She didn't fulfill the Tanai. It's a kukuliyavim. She has to go to she has to be miyam. Reb Shimon Gamliel says no, she could give it to a Yairish. Shimon Gamliel Leiman Naisenis la'achiv. She could give it to his brother if he was the Irish, or to his father, or to one of the relatives. So, in other words, there is she could still fulfill the Tanai, and the get is a good get, and therefore she doesn't fall Yibam. Now, the only question is if she could fulfill the Tanai. Because according to the Tanakama, the Tanai was you should give it to me. And to me is to me and not a Irish. While according to Reb Shimon Gamliel, to me includes a Irish. Ad kan loy pligi ala damar savar li v'loy li Yarshai. To me and not to my Yarshim. And therefore, since he's not around anymore, she can't fulfill the Tanai, so the get is not a good get, and therefore she falls a Yibam. Omar savar afilu li Yarshai. She could still give it to the Yarshim and fulfill the Tanai. But everybody holds that it then becomes retroactive till the time of the get. The Kuli Almamiyah to Noahave. So to Yufta the Rabbi Yehuda, all of these are a refutation, Rabbi Yehuda, that says it's only Chal when it's given, because if it's only Chal when it's given, he's already dead. So it can't be a get after Misa. Amalach Rabbi Yehuda, so Rabbi Yehuda says, no. How many Rebbe? Rebbe in Shas holds that all these cases is clearly a Tanai. The Amar Avuna Amar Rebbe Kol Ha'omer Almanas. Wherever you say Almanas, Ka'omer Me'achshav Dami. It's as if you're saying retroactive. So Einachanami, according to Rebbe, then it would be retroactive, and even if the get got torn, or the Kiddushin got, or she accepted Kiddushin from someone else and ditched Avi, it's too late, because it's retroactive. Or pligi Rabbanan alay, but the Rabbanan don't hold that whenever you say Almanas, it's as if you say Me'achshav. Va'ano damrei k'Rabbanan, and I say like the Rabbanan. So now let's analyze Rebbe for a minute. Berish, can I trouble you for a drink of water? You know what? As Berish is getting me a drink of water, and we welcome in Yehuda from Yerushalayim, I neglected in the beginning of the shir to say a kapitel of Tillim. We shouldn't slack off on saying Tillim. So let's say it now. Shila malo, he says, Einay Elohim, me'ayin yavoy Ezri. Ezri me'yim Adonai, Yisei Shamayim v'oretz. Al yitein lamoy traglecha, al yonum shaymerecha. Hinei lo yonum v'lo yishan shaymer Yisrael. Adonai shaymerecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Yomi ma'ashemesh lo yakeka v'yoreh yachba loyla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor es nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeischa v'yecha. Me'atov yad olam. Achenu kol beis Yisrael anesunim b'tzar v'shivya. Ha'im demei meyam b'yamayabash ha'makim yirachim aleim v'yotziim mitzor levacha. U'ma'afel lo'ira m'shibah l'gulash l'vagala b'zman kariv v'noimar. Amen. Thank you very much, Berish. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro.
Amen.
So now, Gufa, let's reanalyze over here something as we welcome in Philippe. Philippe for our 28th Zoomer of the evening. Minus Marshall and minus Mark. We're really missing people tonight. Gufa. Amar Avuna Marav Kol Ha'omer Almanas Ka'omer Me'achshav Dami. Whoever says on the condition, it's as if he said from now. So that means if, let's say he says, Avi says, I'm being mekadosh you on the condition that I give you $1,000. So it means I'm being mekadosh you from now on the condition that give you $1,000. Amar Rab Zeira ki avinon bebavel. When we were in Bavel, hava amrinon. Hada Amar Rav Huna Amar Rebbe Kola Imer Almanas Kaimer Ma'akshiv Dami Pligi Rabbanan Ale. The Rabbanan argue on it. However, Ki Salke Lahasim, when we went up to Eretz Yisrael, Ashkechel Rav Asi, the Yosef B'Kamala Mishmei Reb Yochanan, Hakol Moedim, everybody agrees, but Omer Almanas, when you say on the condition, it means that if the condition is met, it's chal from the beginning. Ka'omer me'achshav dami. Lo nechleku ela me'yom ulach hamisa. Oh, remember, me'yom ulach hamisa is our case of whether it's a Tanai or whether it's a Chazara. Says Gemara, Vatanya. Now this Vatanya is read, see always Rashi, sometimes Vatanya, most of times in Shas, Vatanya is a question. Vatanya. So when it's a proof, Rashi always says B'nichusa. It's read gently. Vatanya, Me'yoy melach hamisa, from today and after death, get ve'ena get, because as we said, Divrei Chacham, the Chacham are not sure whether it's a condition, Me'ayoim if he dies, or if it's a Chazara, Me'ayoim no after death, and then it wouldn't be good. Rabbi Yomer kazeh get. Says the Gemara, Ul Rav Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Da'omer ba'almanas nami pligi, that Rebbe and the Rabbanan argue in the case of Almanas too. So ademifligi be miyoy melach hamisa, nifligi ba'almanas. They should argue in the case of Almanas that even in the case of Almanas, the Chacham say it's not me'achshav. Says the Gemara, loidiach koicha de Rebbe. It's coming to tell me the strength of Rebbe that me'ayoy melach hamisa nami harizeh get. It's also a get, and it means a Tanai and not a Chazara. Says the Gemara, v'nifligei ba'almanas l'idiyach koicha de Rabbanan, to tell me the koicha de Rabbanan that even in the case of Almanas, it's not interpreted as me'achshav. Says the Gemara, yeah, but koicha de Teira adif. We'd rather say the Chiddush of Rebbe, because Rebbe is a heter, saying that it's good and it frees her, and to tell me the Chiddush of heter is better. I explained to you that the idea of koicha de Teira adif is always that it's easy to be machmer. You have to know something to be mekel. Almanasha etein loch mikan, if Avi says to Shprinza, on the condition that I give it to you from now in 30 days, so if he gives it in 30 days, it's a good Kiddushin. If not, it's not. So the Gemara says, Pshita, that's what Avi said. That's what Avi said. Says the Gemara, Mao the same alav to know. He didn't mean it as a condition. Rather, what happened? What happened over here was, and he wanted to be Mazaros himself, to get it over quickly. But he didn't mean that. He just wanted to put a little self-pressure on himself. Kamash Malan, no, it's a condition. He doesn't give it in 30 days, then I'm married. You can't say, well, that's what I meant. Almanashi Yeshli Masayim Zuz, on the condition that I have $200, then they're married, if he has it. The question is, and if he doesn't show the money, they're certainly not married? But maybe he has some money stashed away. V'neicha shema yeshloi. How can we say that they're definitely not Mekudeshes? Maybe he has money in a bank account. V'oi Tanya, we learned that in the Brisa, Chayshinon shema yeshloi. We're chayshish that maybe he has money in a bank account. Says, well, you're right. Like cash if he shows the money, they're certainly Mekudeshes. If he doesn't show the money, that means that she's going to need a get to marry someone else, but they can't live together until he shows the money. On the condition that I show you 200, So the din is, if he shows her $200 on the money changes table, that's not good enough. So the Gemara says, well, he said, on the condition I show you $200, and he showed her $200. Tana loy niskavna el l'rois mishaloi. It's clear that he meant when I show you that I have $200. V'im herala ala shulchan, if he shows her on the money changes table, ain't a mekudesh. So the Gemara says, of course not. That's not his money. Pshita. Says, well, like tzvicha the afal gav the noket to maybe iska. Even though what happened was, is Gedalia gave him $200 on consignment and said you could use it to make money and we'll share the profit. So technically Gedalia gave him the money, but it's not his. It's only on consignment. So that's not a good enough Kiddushin. That's not showing that he has $200. Says the Mishnah. Now I know most people would say, Rabbi Weiss, you could stop over here, but we already have to learn 2 blat on Motzei Shabbos. Why should we learn more than 2 blat? You know, and as you've been noticing, these Gemaras take a long time to learn. We're not finishing them, you know, in no time. No, Philippe, I didn't say showtime. I said no time.
Time like showtime, Rabbi.
Yeah. You got to try to start getting here a little earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're back in school now.
Start to show up my regularity of attendance.
Yeah. Well,
and we can work on my punctuality.
Well,
okay?
Philippe, whenever you come, it's great to have you.
It's always a marvel to me, Rabbi.
Now,
Thank you very much.
Now, Al Menashe Yeshli base Kur offer. So our Don Juan tonight is Avi. So Al Menashe Yeshli base Kur offer. He says on the condition that I have a kur of real estate. Harizu Mikudeshes, she's Mikudeshes v'Yeshli if he has a kur of real estate. Al Menashe Yeshli b'Makom Ploini, on the condition that I have a kur of real estate in Lakewood. Im Yeshli b'Oisa Makom Mikudeshes, if he has it in Lakewood, it's Mikudeshes. V'Im Lav, if he has it in the Bronx, ain't Mikudeshes. Al Menashe Erech base kur offer, on the condition that I show you the base kur offer, then he has to actually show it to her. Harizuma Kadeshes v'Yerena. It's not enough that people testify that he has it. He has to show it. V'im hera bebika, if he shows her a piece of real estate in Lakewood in a valley with a bunch of kur, but it's not his, then ain't no Kadeshes. And the Gemara's going to ask, of course not. Shows her somebody else's property. How could she? We'll see what the Kiddush is. Says the Gemara, it says that if he shows the real estate, then they're Mekudeshes. If not, then they're not Mekudeshes. Says the Gemara, maybe he has some property somewhere. V'oi Tanya, we learned in the Brisa, Chayshinon Shema Yeshloi, we're concerned maybe he has. Says the Gemara, like Kash, Abi Kedushay Vadei, Abi Kedushay Suffolk, like we answered earlier. If he shows the base kur, then they're married. If not, then it's a suffix. She needs to get in a suffix, but if they want to live together, they have to make another Kiddushin or show it to her. So the Gemara says we just learned that by money, and we're learning it by real estate. Why do we have to learn this halacha both by money and by real estate? Lama li lemisna gabe ara. Why do we have to learn it by real estate? V'lama li lemisna gabe zuzeh. Why do we have to learn it by money? Says Gemara Tzricha. The iash minin gabe zuzeh. If we would say it by money, you know why? Because if he could always have money stashed away. People stash away money. They put it in numbered Swiss accounts. They put it in their mattresses. Mishum Davide Yinshe de Mitznei. So it's possible he has some money stashed away. Aval Ara, but real estate, you don't stash away real estate. If he had it, maybe we should say we would know about it. And the fact we would know about it, we would say maybe they're not married for sure. It's not even a suffix. it would have we would hear about it. Kamashma, no, we have to be concerned that maybe he has some property and people don't know about it. He's still a guy. Almanashi Yeshli b'makom pliny, I have in Borough Park. Im Yeshloi, if he has in Borough Park, it's good. If not, not. Pshita. Mao Desema, I might say, Amallah, he'll tell her, my nafkalach mina. What's the difference where I have the field with the fruit? What's the difference if it's in Borough Park or in Flatbush? I'll bring it from Flatbush. I'll bring it for you. Kamash Malon, no. If he made up, it's in Borough Park. If it turns out to be in Flatbush, they're not Mekadeshes. Almanashe Erech base kur offer, on the condition that I show you a base kur of offer. So he said if he shows it to her in a valley that doesn't belong to him, then they're not Mekadeshes. Tana, loy niskav nazu el lirois mishaloi. Right? Because when he says, I'll show it to you, it's obviously means I'll show you his. The imhira bebika ain't a Mekadeshes. So the Gemara says, duh. If he shows it to her in a valley that's not his, says the Gemara, like tzricha did knocket b'distura. It's talking about where he already had a sharecropper arrangement. So he does have a shaykhis to that kurav offer because he's a sharecropper. But since he doesn't own all of it, they're not mikudeshes. Okay, we're going to stop here now. And now Rabbi say we have a simcha tonight. I don't know if you know it, but we have a simcha tonight. We finish Mayid Cotton and start Chagiga. Isn't that amazing, Rabbi say?
What time was the Shabbos?
Oh, what time was the Shabbos? Gedalia, what time was the Shabbos?
We say 9 o'clock, I think.
9 o'clock. That's good.
Okay.
Kiddushin Daf 60.
Shikar Rabbi, thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, we're going to finish Mayid Cotton now.